Good after morning. It's not quite the morning. It's definitely the morning, and it's definitely the first time that we've gone live today. Not.
Graham. It's the first stream in here on a Tuesday in 2022. Both of us being in the office, it was bound to happen. You even said yesterday at the end of the scoop, expect technical difficulties. And who are we to let the people down?
Yeah, I mean, we know our limitations. We expect. I pressed the fucking Graham, my mic isn't on. Fuck's sake! Yeah. We're just talking about how there's been issues. Anyway, welcome in twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads, where myself and Bibby build a full stream as we go along. So we start out with only one microphone, we evolve and get two. And then, do you know what? Hopefully, we'll get some news and some bands and stuff as we go. We'll see. Pro streamers, you know damn right.
You know it.
If you don't know who we are, let me show you. My name is Graham Day. This is Bibby. We are Ice Cream Uploads, and in true Ice Creamy fashion, this is The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast, if we do say so ourselves. We are live on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads, where we go live each and every single weekday. Do you know what? When things go well, and when I say when things go well, I mean Bibby's got a baby, so you know,
Bibby
don't really go to schedule. But when things go well, we will stream 7 days a week on Twitch, 10 a.m.-ish each and every single weekday, a stream on a Wednesday evening, and then a stream on a Saturday and a Sunday morning, bringing you some PUBG gameplay, some Skyrim gameplay, and other things, as well as the UK's #1 video game podcast. So if you are new here, do feel free to drop a follow on the channel so you will get all of that content. But as mentioned, we are going to go through the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories from the world of video games right now. But not only that, we will give you our thoughts and impressions on the stories. We want to hear your thoughts and impressions on your stories. And then we will give you our thoughts and impressions on your thoughts. You get it.
You know the gist.
Thoughts and impressions. My phone is going crazy. Hey.
Is it like episode 538 or something?
Something like that.
It's outrageous, isn't it? Like
just a few. So we started this like I mean over 2 years ago now. Is it something like that?
Yeah, it was October. Was it October 1st? We kept on saying the date like repeatedly in the pilot episode. It was like October 1st, 2019 or something like that.
Over and over again saying, yeah. Do you know what? I'm gonna go watch that pilot episode so I can cringe at just how bad it was. I mean, it's not great now. We can't even get two microphones working, but still, you know what I mean. Let me shout out to Fondle as well, by the way, because the reason I looked down at my phone is because Secret Fondle just liked and retweeted our tweet. If anyone else wants to do that, you can go to any of our social media channels. You will see our Go Live posts. Do feel free to share that with other people so they know we're live and they can drop in. If you are in the chat as well as retweeting stuff, it's important that you get involved over the next hour or so because we are live on Twitch, as mentioned. We do go live on Twitch each and every single weekday at 10 a.m. ish. It's now it's 20 to 1.
It's again though, Graham. This is not the latest we have ever gone live.
I think we went later yesterday actually.
It could quite possibly.
Well, yeah,
there was a point where we went live at 2:20 and still played it off like it's half 10. What are you on about?
Although, for those that may have dropped in yesterday, we did mention that we are doing an event. It is going to be a PUBG themed event, and it will be coming soon. We'll give you all of the details. Mm-hmm. There's been a lot more stuff on that. So that I spoke to some people yesterday. The people I spoke to yesterday, it's evolved.
Yeah.
It's even bigger than that. Yeah. So we will give you all of the details when we can soon. But if you are interested in joining PUBG events, do keep your eyes on us over the next few days and we'll start to get things locked in and then start to reach out to people. So yeah, keep your eyes on the prize. And when I say prize, that's quite literal.
Yeah, well, I'm also thinking of prizes which may or may not have landed in the office today, Graham.
What's that?
Begins with H. It's not Hamish, she's not here.
Oh, okay. I've no idea then.
It looks like something similar that's on my head.
Hair.
Yes. Well done, congratulations.
Yes. We have 5 packs of ICU blackout baseball hats just there, behind the screens. You can't see them, but 5 of these bad boys. Yeah.
All in Flat Peak. All in Flat Peak.
I don't think so. So yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, we do go live on Twitch at 10 a.m.-ish, but we also turn the live stream into a podcast, a video that goes on YouTube and an audio podcast that goes on iTunes and Spotify and SoundCloud and Google Play. So there is lots of places where over 105,000 people have watched and listened to this show on demand. So if you're in the chat, please do feel free to get involved on behalf of everyone else that does watch and listen to this show on demand. Let me scroll back up. That's it. When do we get our sound consultancy check? It's just there, Gagad. just down there. Whenever you want to grab in, pop in and grab it. Jobs are good. Where do we get to? Better! Exclamation mark scene. Oh yeah, you won't get any exclamation mark scene audio alerts and stuff because I'd need to export all that shit. So all that stuff that I put in, that was through December and into January when I was doing it remotely from home. Those stuff not in the studio yet. So
two completely different systems.
Yeah. So we will bring that stuff over, but not yet. Today is not that day. Weekly beep says phase now. You want us to phase? What, like disappear?
I'll have Phase Clan.
I don't know.
I mean, if they want to come in and offer us the monies, then yeah.
I mean, to be fair,
Phase ICU.
To be fair, Phase. I mean, I'd listen to the conversation, but I don't think you're quite at the level where you could hire us yet. If you keep doing what you guys do,
yeah.
Maybe one day. Bacon Chin, I'll read. Oh look, it's the boys.
Thank you, Kane, as well.
Maybe it's a bit late, but congrats for the newest addition to your family.
Yeah, he's doing great. He's still alive, so I've kind of done the first part of the job right. He's still breathing.
Not sat on him yet.
Yeah, not yet. But yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, he's still breathing. He's still alive. He's still crying. He's still eating. He's still shitting. So that's all part and parcel of having a child, isn't it?
And so's the little one.
Yeah. Hi, Samantha.
Speaking of Kane. You can see in the chat, Kane_360. If you want to hear his tones, his sultry voice, then do feel free to check out our latest post on hover.gg. We have just signed up to hover.gg. I say we have just. We actually signed up a few weeks ago, but we've only just started posting on hover.gg. Well, we are now on Hover. You will see some of our gameplay clips and stuff that you might see if you follow us on Instagram, like we put out as the occasional reels and stuff. We've started to put those out on Hover too. And the latest, I say the latest one, it's actually the second latest one. Kane, you can hear him as I pop someone's head as they're riding along the back of a buggy in PUBG.
Yeah.
We drop them. Kane gets involved. You can go get involved. Just click on the link. Drop some follows. Nice.
Yeah. You can. It is an app that you can install on your iPhone or your Android device as well, as well as use the browser. So if it's not something that you have before, I mean, I only found out what it was apparently last week, completely forgot about it until I said to Graham, have you seen Hover? And he's like, yeah, I told you about it last week. We had a whole conversation about it last week. I was like, all right, Sam, well, I'm on it now. So,
well, basically, Hover is the same as TikTok and Instagram Reels, but just gameplay focused.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we will, if you're on TikTok or if you're on Instagram and you're not on Hover, we will start posting the content across all platforms. Once we get everything up and running, everything, like all our ducks in a row, we will be using all platforms. We have TikTok, we just haven't used TikTok. Sorry, Mr. T.
Sorry, mate.
But
put the algorithm in our favour, then maybe we might end up going.
Yeah. I mean, if you smooth us over, we might smooth you with content. That's all we're saying. So yeah, it exists. Feel free to check it out. Hover it if you want gameplay clips, but you don't want the stuff that you'll get on an Instagram or whatever. Go check it out. Barton Wilson, hey, how are you doing? Good morning. After morning, good afternoonish.
Good after morning.
Yeah, good after morning. Hello, beautiful people. Been a while. How was New York?
It looked cold.
Do you know? Actually, I don't want to know how New York was. I'm going to assume it was crap because I'm not jealous at all.
Well, he did take Gary Clark with him as well. So. What are you playing, Gary? I love you. I love you, Gary.
Woo, easy, Tiger, Mr. Gary Clark. Yeesh. Anyway. We are not here to insult Gary, although that's part of what you get as an added extra. What we are here for is to talk about video games news, and we have 5 big old stories for you today. The first of which is around Battlefield. This is a game that we were super, super hyped about, and now not so much. And it seems like we're not the only ones, as Battlefield 2042 faces a fight for survival as players and content creators go AWOL, a.k.a. Battlefield is not having a good time. We will then follow that up with a conversation that Halo is not having a good time.
Hello.
Yikes. Okay, 2 big games. So it's all bad news today? No, not quite. We've got other stories. Sticking with Xbox, we'll jump into the fact that Xbox is very unlikely to be able to buy big Japanese studios. That's according to one analyst. While Sony teases a breakthrough AI project created with Gran Turismo studio Polyphony. And, just in case you didn't know it, NFTs are a financial scam.
No way.
No, apparently someone has said that, and it's not just everyone. So yeah, there you go. That's good. Anyway, we'll jump into the first story of the day, which is this one. There it is on your screen. Battlefield 2042 faces a fight for survival as players and content creators go AWOL. This is written by Sherif, Saed at VG247. The tagline says, players and content creators alike are dropping Battlefield 2042 after the most recent news. So Battlefield 2042 may be taking the series into an unprecedentedly dark period, as many fear the game will be forgotten by the time DICE is done fixing it. Last week was particularly stressful for Battlefield fans and developer DICE. The studio announced delaying the game's first season by several months. What many believed would arrive in March is now landing sometime around June. The developer will instead use this break to address long-standing issues and potentially change some of the most controversial design decisions made during the development of Battlefield 2042. Meanwhile, publisher EA all but pretended the game doesn't exist at all in its financial reports and releases for Q3. When asked about Battlefield 2042's performance and its view of launch, EA said it was a disappointment, admitting that it has run into several problems. EA, however, was adamant DICE will get things back on the right track because the developer has fixed similar messes in the past. The unavoidable fact is that all of this means Battlefield 2042 will not be getting any new content for months. In the ever-relevant race for engagement, a number of Battlefield content creators have already publicly announced that they're moving on from the game. The latest casualty of this lack of interest is Stoddy, one of several YouTubers who built their career on Battlefield coverage, before moving on to other popular shooters like Warzone. Stoddy put out a video over the weekend announcing that while they'll be covering Battlefield 2042 news, they won't be playing it on their channels until new content arrives. Before that, Westy, friend of the channel, great person, another Battlefield creator, also recently told his followers he'd be moving away from 2042, explaining that they're simply not having fun playing it at this time. Both were fairly mild in their criticisms, but other creators had a much sharper tone when they abandoned the game. AKA Art, for example, who almost exclusively plays Battlefield games, pretty much quit after Battlefield 2042's failure to deliver. Meanwhile, other Battlefield content creators such as The Broken Machine have quietly moved away from the game, either going back to past Battlefield titles or focusing on other popular shooters. Level Cap Gaming and Jack Frags are the only two major creators who regularly post Battlefield 2042 content, even though in the latter's case it's not as frequent. It's not hard to see why this is happening. Battlefield 2042 continues to lose players on all platforms. This lack of player interest is reflected in the lack of views on YouTube and Twitch, which is a major reason why all these creators are stepping away. There is simply no money in it. We'll stop there. We don't need to go through any further. Bleak. Battlefield 2042 faces a fight for survival.
Yeah.
What a tragedy when we were sat last year going, I think I was possibly, something along these lines, I was quoted as saying, my game of E3 was Battlefield 2042, which was a given because it was like, usually I want my game of E3 is something that's maybe not your AAA, maybe a B tier sort of game or something that comes out of left field. I try to find something different, but Battlefield 2042 and all of the, what was it called, Portal stuff, just, I was like, winner, Battlefield dinner. And now it's just languishing. Absolute travesty.
Yeah, it feels like it's lacking something. And when I say something, I feel like it rather than changing something to a lot.
Everything.
Yeah,
it's just lacking soul.
Yeah. Essentially, it's like the I don't want to go as far as saying like it feels like it's had its soul ripped out of it from a Battlefield perspective, but everyone can name a Battlefield game that they have sunk a stupid amount of time into and look fondly back on it. But this one doesn't seem to have got out the gate for people to go, do you know what? This could potentially be a game that I'm talking about in 10 years' time. It's just not got there. If you are a full-time content creator, you rely on money. Like, that's your full-time job. It's the same as anything. If your job is to create content and people enjoy it that much that they want to be able to donate to you, or they want to subscribe to you, or people want to pay for your advertising, no one's going to come in and sponsor your streams. If a game that you used to get 70,000 views on is now getting 10,000, they'll be going, that's a loss of revenue for us. Why would we pay that back to you? Like,
I mean, we will sponsor your stuff, but whereas you got $7,000 last time because you got 70,000 views, you'll only get $1,000 this time because you only get 10,000 views. So, and you're thinking, $1,000, but $1,000 for that many hours worth of work. I need another 2 or 3 of them for the month to be able to just satisfy whatever.
Yeah,
like,
it's outrageous. It's such a shame because Battlefield will always hold. I will always be Battlefield over Call of Duty because I've got that nostalgia. And to be fair, the last couple of Battlefield games haven't been absolutely terrible, but there won't be the games that I'll be telling my now 16-year-old brother like 10 years ago, mate. 12, 13, 14 years ago, we were playing through all the Battlefield games and they was legendary. They will go down in FPS history as some of the best and benchmarked FPS games. Whereas this one isn't even, it's not touching the surface. It's getting nowhere near the fanfare that at this moment in time you can't even say it's deserved. Like, it's the reason it's still hanging by a thread is because of the title in the game. It's a Battlefield game made by EA.
If that was anything else, it would have just been like, oh great, shooty bang.
Yeah.
Okay, done it.
It's
now what?
It's horrendous. It's upsetting, but you can't justify their roadmap at this moment in time, because if your content isn't good enough and they have a live service game, what are you supposed to do? You can't do anything. Like, they're not having a season pass for another couple of months. The game's been out since early November, was it?
It definitely has a detrimental effect. So I can tying this to PUBG, as I always like to do. Tying this to PUBG. PUBG hasn't had a season pass since September, October time, kind of thing, which we've said will be a big issue for the PUBG community. PUBG, to be fair to them, whilst they haven't had the season pass, I think that's probably because they were changing. Obviously, they didn't mention it then, but they changed it to a full free-to-play game, which has revitalised the user base, and they've had a bunch of other different content bits, so they haven't dropped off the face of the earth for content. It's not been the most detailed stuff, and for a lot of people that just play PUBG for playing PUBG, the season passes are kind of irrelevant anyway, but casual gamers want something to play towards. PUBG's give them a little bit of something that you have to dig a little bit to dig into, okay, to get the Twitch skins from watching Nacho, for example, I need to go in and link my account to make sure I watch him, and you can easily miss that news. If I didn't watch Nacho and the like every day, I would have missed the fact that I could have been earning skins. So not the greatest stuff, but there's been bits there. This is even worse than that in the fact that there's just nothing to do. There is no, like, usually games will get criticised for having no end game, but if you've got no mid game to get to the end game, you've just got, hey, now what? I don't know. You bought it. I didn't know what was going to come after that.
Do you think after they went so hard at Gamescom with their trailers and stuff like that, you thought there was going to be on tour when you thought Battlefield's back, baby? And the biggest thing that I could take out of it, and I'll say it now because he's just turned up into the chat, is Lotus flying around in the jets. Like, that's the only thing that's the two things now. The side by side. Like, as soon as I think of Battlefield, I just imagine him flying around in his little jets. But that's because I haven't seen anything cooler at this moment in time. There's nothing else behind it. And if you've got people like Westy, whose whole channel was built around Battlefield, and then moving to your competitors, like, it's a shame.
The thing is, I imagine most people in this channel understand how that works, but I've seen a lot of people criticising not just Westy, but the likes of Stoddy and everyone else like that for turning their back on Battlefield. And I'm thinking, they're not turning their backs on Battlefield. Battlefield turn their backs on them effectively by not providing them with the content that they need to survive. So let's do a different example. Okay, you've seen those like lemonade stalls where kids set up lemonade stalls and people go, oh, this is the best lemonade here. I'll go buy some lemonade. But then like lemonades, people I just don't really want it. Any of that lemon shit. Actually, the lemons are a bit crap at this time of year. It just tastes a bit bland. It doesn't taste sour or sweet. It's just, have you got any strawberry like juice or whatever, any raspberries or something like that? So it's a case of, oh yeah, okay, well, I can keep making the lemonade, but waste my time and effort. No one's going to buy it. But I can just use the strawberries until the lemons are back in fashion. And people don't realise that it's not just something that they're doing because they want to turn their back on it and make a statement. It's actual revenue. If someone said to you, go to work, but you're not going to get paid for it. Actually, do you know what, babe? Okay, we'll start paying you again in September when we launch new stuff. But from March till September, you're probably only going to get about 20% of your salary for the exact same work. Yeah. You'd be like, fuck this shit, I'm out.
I mean, obviously, we're coming at it from content creators' point of views as well, with the likes of Westy and Stoddy all moving away. But like Lotus is saying, he paid full price for the game, and it's just not been in a playable state for him to be able to enjoy it. And that, again, it's heartbreaking. Like £60 for a game is not cheap, and it's again they're only going to get more expensive. So it's highly annoying, but I can't see me asking this for the first and only time today. But do you ever see them making a comeback? Do you think that this potentially could turn a corner year 2?
No. And the reason I say no, let me just actually jump back, because Talk Shows Unmuted did say something before. I think I remember what it is, so I won't scroll back. But Talk Shows Unmuted said something along the lines of, everyone I know that has this game or plays this game has jumped back to Battlefield 5 already, which is a travesty, because it's a completely different game. It's modern warfare versus old school warfare, and it's supposed to be a different feel, a different vibe, and I know a lot of people didn't really they stuck with Battlefield 5 because it was a Battlefield game, but they wanted Battlefield 2042 because it was more of a modern warfare, and they've all had to go back to something they didn't want because it was just better. Even though it's not what they wanted, it's better than what they wanted that's available.
That was the most recent one, wasn't it? 5.
Yeah, so it was Battlefield 1, then Battlefield 5.
Right, yeah. So it was the Pacific DLC that actually made the game good, though, wasn't it?
In 5, yeah, at the end of it.
Yeah.
So by the end of their life cycle, they fixed it. But that's so answering your question then, in terms of do I think they could fix it? There's 2 elements. My overall point is no, they can't fix this now. They can fix the game, but never have I ever seen a first-person shooter that should have been let's use the word fad, but in a positive way. Like, games are fads. Fads is quite a negative thing where something comes along and we have fun and it fucks off. But fads is very much a part of any form of marketing. Something will come along and we'll have a Pokemon Go fad. Doesn't mean the game's shit, but it had its life and its past. We had a Fortnite fad. PUBG had a fad kind of thing. And games can have multiple fads, but never have I ever seen a first-person shooter have a fad after it's failed.
Oh, wait. You mentioned it before.
What?
Battlefield 2. Star Wars, shall we say.
Yeah, but
the Champions Edition fixed the majority of everything.
It's the same. So that's why I say there's 2 parts to it. Can they fix it? Yes. Can they do what they ever wanted to do? I don't think that they will. I think Battlefield 2042 could have come out and challenged the Call of Duties and the whatever as the shooter.
Yeah.
But I think most people will be like, yeah, I played it last year. It's old news. Because fad is a good word, because a lot of YouTube audiences have seen it, played it. It's shit.
Yeah.
And that's the issue a lot of people will have with PUBG. They'll play it and they'll go, actually, it's better than I thought it was. It's like, yeah, because you played it on an Xbox One, not an S, not One X. You played it on a One and you were looking at plasticine buildings 4 years ago. Now it's a completely different game. I mean, it can still trigger you. Triggered me a bit last night, but that's by the by. A lot of people will judge and that's it. It's gone. Yeah. And Battlefield, unless it goes drastically free to play with...
That was a rumour. There was a rumour of that.
So at that point, if they go free to play with good quality content, really well balanced gameplay that's flawless, then they could bring something back. I would be surprised if 9 months into their release schedule, that hits the top of the table, though.
It's a shame. I personally do think that they have got something in them, because I can't see them working on another Battlefield game simultaneous alongside this. I just can't see it. So this, I think, is going to be their only body of work for the next 2 years. So do I see it maybe year 3 peeking through? Yes, I feel like they can fix it. I feel like it's, at this moment in time, it's more down to content and things to do, battle pass systems and things like that, which realistically you think would be quite easy to put into the game. They just need to make the challenges, they need to put the stuff that's attainable, and then it's something to work towards.
You'd be disappointed if they didn't, because Call of Duty released Blackout, which was a bit crap, let's be honest, but they knew that. That's why it was there for 12 months, and it was superseded by, actually, we know what we're doing now with Battle Royale. Warzone, which is wonderful. Don't get me wrong, it's not perfect. A lot of people, you can dislike it and stuff, but Warzone as a mechanic for delivering Battle Royale gameplay to a Call of Duty audience is great.
Compared to Blackout.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so the second bite of the cherry, so it's a treat.
And they've already had a go at Battlefield with Battlefield 5 and the likes of tying in Firestorms and gone, oh, we made a fucking shitload of mistakes there. So now this should have been like, okay, we understand how season passes work. We've seen Call of Duty release 2 games in that time and how they've tied it all in. We can build off of that. We've watched Fortnite develop and build out the whole concept. So we, as EA, who are really good at taking money off people, should know how to do this. And no, they've gone, we'll take your money. And then, did you fill in your notes for page 2? Oh, wait, no, so page, we've got take money. You've not written anything. Oh, fuck, let's just launch it anyway and we'll sort out page 2 afterwards.
Well, I've just seen Ty was saying, after the constant issues and little fixes, I can't see the community coming back. They screwed a lot of people over. If they go to free to play, a lot of people who paid for the game will be pissed. Absolutely. They absolutely will be pissed, but I can also see them being compensated somehow. It might not be a complete £60 justification or £80 as Talk Show Muted said as it was in store. I can still see them compensating if it does go free to play, but if they've put a shit ton of money into this game, they can't afford for it to fail. So what's the biggest way and easiest way for it to be able to be available to the masses?
Free to play.
Make it free to play, or make a mobile version of it, which looks like it is going to be coming out at some point as well.
The thing is, though, is like if the mobile version is better, then well, it's a situation that kind of exists with PUBG at that. You get
and
resentment and Call of Duty Mobile, yeah. You get resentment towards the mobile games and resentment towards the developers of the main games. Whereas clearly, mobile developers and console developers are different teams, different people that will have different timelines. Developing for mobile is probably much quicker and so on. But if your core offering, which I know for a large percentage of the world, mobile is the core offering, but for gamers, there's it's almost entitled, to be fair, that console/PC is your core offering, and then your mobile comes secondary. Well, revenue would say that's.
It's the exact opposite way around. Like it's criminal. It's not criminal. It's a massive justification as to why most video games have spin-offs or have a version of their game being ported over. We recently talked about World of Warcraft potentially getting a mobile port of the game. That's genius from Active Blizzard, being able to create a video game with the name of World of Warcraft, making a mobile version of their MMO game. Do you realise how mad that is?
Cha-ching.
That is the biggest cash cow that you could potentially have, and if it works, it will be fantastic. But it's just whether or not you be able to try and get the controls down onto a mobile device. Like, I still find it bizarre that you cannot use a controller on PUBG Mobile and Call of Duty Mobile. It blows my mind that someone. You can't you're not giving the ability for people to be able to go out and buy a £12 controller. You could even sell Call of Duty controllers if you wanted to, get them partnered with Razer or whatever else.
See, I did see something on that, saying it was something to do with if you start allowing controllers, that's where you start to open up for exploits, for external, like you basically your rapid fire sort of shit. I mean, that obviously a bit more beyond that. And that was the foundation for it, but like you can still almost exploit that a bit in terms of I can be playing my phone screen and you can get those little things that you stick on the back that just become your buttons and stuff. So how do they know that I'm not doing that?
Yeah, but there's ways of being able to do it now. You can use apps like Octopus and be able to remap all your configurations with a controller if you really, really wanted to. So I just find it bizarre that they can't separate controller from people using touchscreens. I don't mind playing mobile games are far away than they have been for the last 10 years. They're a world away. There's so much more content available to them now, and they are substantial enough for you to be able to back them as a decent game. Like, I don't feel ashamed saying that I do play quite a few mobile games, but they are they are pick up and play experiences. Like I'm not spending hours and hours playing like a Diablo clone or something like that. I just don't do it. But Talk Show Muted says, personally, I don't give a shit about Battle Pass rubbish and free skins. I just want to drop and shoot people. That's just me. I don't have McDonald's throwaway need for it. And I agree with that. Like, there's a lot of people who will just, like, I was one of those people with Call of Duty Vanguard. Like, I love jumping in, just playing a few team death matches, playing whatever it is on the casual mode. Like, you'll get 4 or 5 game modes in rotation, stuff like that. I'll play through it for an hour and a half, and then just leave it if I've managed to tick off some challenges along the way. Fantastic. But for someone like you, for instance, who jumps into PUBG every single day to tick off your dailies, like, that is a rite of passage. That entices you to go back and play that game. And at this moment, Battlefield doesn't offer you an incentive to go back and play that game at all.
So we've spoke about like Fortnite in the past. You love the fact that if you jump into Fortnite, it's not just hinging on can you get your dub. Are you getting a victory royale or not? Because statistically, if you play games like that, you're going to lose more than win. That's how it works. So a lot of people get disheartened. So if you get your wins along the way, you get your loot 3 shotguns, you get kill 3 people, you get whatever, then okay, well I can tick things off. So some people like that, but I get it.
Jack's the same. Jack is the worst for it upstairs. He will run away from the winning battle just to be able to go to a vending machine because that's part of his challenge set. Like, that's if you want to play the game.
I'd be like, well, I'm playing another game.
Yeah.
I'm winning this one, and I've got to go back for that.
But it's just one of those things. Like, people have different incentives to play, and I always think it's fairer to look at the overall rather than the minority.
Yeah.
But you can understand why companies look for where they can make the quickest buck, because as it stands, Battlefield isn't going to be getting any more money. Like, I know it's the no more money to them is still them earning 5 or 10 more million, but they wanted to earn 50, 60 more million.
Yeah, that's the thing though. It's all about like what the shareholders would have been expected. So this all came from the earnings calls, quarterly earnings calls every 3 months or so. The developers, publishers all have to justify why they did or didn't earn money, and that's where this would have come from. They will have probably earned money, but they have damaged themselves in terms of the amount of money that they could earn from this for their shareholders. Their shareholders will be expecting, well, I put £5 in and expected 25 quid back. Mm-hmm. I put £5 in, I'm getting 10 quid back. Yeah. So I've doubled my money, but it's not. I could have put it somewhere else and doubled it. So you either sort something out, or I will put my money somewhere else and quadruple it. So that's always a worry. Plus, they've weakened the brand, and by weakening the brand, they will probably make it so that they expected to get a 5-to-1 return on this game. The next game, it might only be a 4-to-1 return, because we've had 2 shit releases now. We did fix Battlefield 5 in the end with the Pacific update, but there was a long rocky road. And even Wesley, for those that don't know or haven't checked out Wesley's content, he makes a lot of Call of Duty content and stuff now, but he only switched to Call of Duty after the Pacific update because Battlefield had stretched him that long that he had nothing to make content on, that he was like, well, I have to go and make Call of Duty content. So that one stretched him, and this is like an extra nail in the coffin, not even final. Stopping content after Pacific was the final nail in the coffin. This is, okay, you're opening it back up again. Keep that coffin closed.
Yeah, so to the average Joe, like you've just explained there, if you're saying they were meant to be getting a 5-to-1 and they're moving down to a 4-to-1, you might not think that might be a lot, but the extra one that you're missing could be tens of millions, which for a company of EA's size, you might think it's pocket change down the back of the sofa, but the people who are investing into these companies, they're the people that they have to please. It's not necessarily the consumer who's picking up the game. They'll want to please you to keep you coming back to spend more money, but ultimately, if they don't get that funding, you aren't getting a game. The game will just disappear, and you won't. That'll be the end of it.
Speaking of games disappearing, the interesting thing from this article is, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to find it off the bat, but they spoke about DICE. Oh, there you go. Meanwhile, EA said it was a disappointment, admitting that it's run into several problems. EA, however, was adamant that DICE will get things back on the right track because the developer has fixed similar messes in the past. It's interesting that they mentioned DICE there, because DICE went from being it was the crown jewel of EA's studios at one point in time, and now DICE is like, okay, how many more things are you going to balls up on your way to delivering a game? And now Respawn is the one that's like, EA's like, we've got Respawn, and DICE is like, yeah, what about me? Yeah, fuck off. Respawn, yeah.
What happened to Titanfall, mate?
Yeah, exactly.
Ben's crying somewhere still. So yeah, it's like you say, the games, if they don't make the money back, like Titanfall, unfortunately, I mean, I was kind of surprised that we saw a sequel for that. I don't think it probably got the respect that it potentially would have deserved, but we haven't seen one since. And all they've done is just stripped out the shooting mechanics and put it into Apex, which is doing extremely well at this moment in time.
One of the top 5 games is actually a good tangent point. We'll jump into what the top 5 games are for Xbox, or what one of them isn't anyway. But to finish that point, DICE have, I mean, to use their own name, they're in a dicey situation because they've got a problem here. They're talking about similar messes in the past. I'm assuming that
using the word mess.
Wars.
It's outrageous, isn't it?
Look, to get Disney to go, okay, we wanted to make exclusive games with you, but fuck this shit, I'm out.
It's such a dangerous word to use when it comes to this. It's such a mess.
Yeah. Yeah, we know.
Yeah, I probably would have avoided that.
£80 on it. They know. Okay, let me jump back through the comments. All the clans I know have moved back, says Talk Shows Unmuted. Lake says, I bought it unreleased, played it twice, to which Lotus agrees with. Although I've seen Lotus play it a few times, but the sentiment remains. After the constant issues and little fixes, I don't see the community coming back. They screwed a lot of people over, especially if they go free to play within the first year. And Talk Shows Unmuted says, personally, I don't know. We've gone for that bit. They've sewn a narrative into Fortnite. They have, and that's the thing, though. Fortnite builds in a narrative that gives people reasons to do stuff away from just securing the dub, and Battlefield doesn't really have that. You're playing for winning your team game, would be a deathmatch or whatever. So it doesn't quite work. Anyway, I'll put a pin in this story. I was going to go down a different tangent of all of the tangents that you'd need to jump into in terms of, does the game have any real substance beyond getting your weapon unlocks and stuff like that. But we'll come back to that. Our next story, though, we're talking about the top 5 articles. Do you want to full screen it?
Yeah, sorry, I was waiting for the ad popper to pop back up again, but it's not. Thank Christ.
Our next article, talking about top 5 games on Xbox. One of them is not Halo. This article, written by Paul Tassi at Forbes, which doesn't get featured very often, says Halo Infinite has fallen outside Xbox's top 5 and outside Steam's top 100. So while Halo Infinite debuted with great reviews and a lot of talk about it being a return to form for the series, the game has struggled to retain players past its initial launch period. We're only 2 months post-launch, though closer to 3 for the early release of the multiplayer, and near midway through the game's first 6-month season. But Halo Infinite has fallen outside of Xbox's top 5 most played games, sitting at number 6 behind long-term leaders. It was unable to unseat for any significant lengthy of time. A good old lengthy of time. The games are as follows. So this is the top 6 games. At the top of the table, Fortnite, followed by Call of Duty Warzone, followed by GTA 5, and then Apex Legends, Roblox, and then Halo Infinite in 6th behind all of those. So Halo Infinite is, of course, free on Xbox Game Pass, and its multiplayer component is free without Game Pass, so that's not a barrier here. On Steam, things have crashed pretty hard. At the time of writing this, Halo Infinite is the number 117th most played game on Steam. Granted, it can shoot up quite a bit during different times of the day, but even at peak hours when I looked yesterday, it was hovering around 40th place instead. Fact is, the game has lost about 90% of its players on Steam in 2 to 3 months. So what's going on here? A few things. Halo Infinite has undergone a number of issues, particularly in regard to its multiplayer. It turned off a number of players with microtransaction pricing and Battle Pass progression, and though it's made large overhauls in those areas, it may be too late for some. There are issues with cheaters, particularly on PC, which may explain further departures, and ranked Halo Infinite play has been pretty messed up from the start, and recently it seems it was revealed that your quick play MMR factors into your ranked experience, so players are purposefully tanking games in that mode to get easier matches in ranked, screwing up the entire experience. I didn't know that. Yikes. And then there are more general problems with the entire concept of Infinite, something a few high-profile streamers talked about ahead of launch and were chastised for, but they might be right. And this is something, this next point where this goes on to, this is what I was kind of saying about, I don't know if Battlefield can bring it back, because this next point. The fact is, traditional team-based shooters have fallen out of favour, which is Halo's bread and butter. On console, you can see that 3 of the top 5 titles are Battle Royale games. On Steam, the top shooters, there are no respawn tactical team games like CSGO or Valorant. It's worth noting that Call of Duty Vanguard and Battlefield 2042 are also even further down these lists, games with much bigger issues than Infinite has, in addition to being traditional team-based offerings. This isn't to say a Battle Royale would have definitely boosted Halo Infinite, but it's worth considering in the current shooter landscape. If Halo Infinite is meant to be a platform for a full generation of Halo offerings to come, it seems like 343 may have to figure out how to expand the series for longer term engagement, even if their initial numbers were great.
Ooh.
Interesting. So the comment isn't that Halo is a bad game.
Yeah.
The comment is that Halo is a good game. The comment is that Halo had great numbers to begin with, but Halo just isn't maintaining those numbers. 90% of players on PC, for a number of different reasons, have dropped off, and the game has fallen out of the top 5. The platform seller for Xbox isn't in the top 5 games on Xbox. Thoughts, Bibs?
Do you know what? As much as I love Halo, and I've played a lot of Halo over the years, is Halo a system seller now? Now, I know there'll be a lot of people going, what the fuck has he just said? What has he just said? Get him hung up, strong, quartered, right? But I'd like to see how many people have played the campaign and then played multiplayer, or they've just got this for the multiplayer. The multiplayer is free. You can download it. It's mentioned it in the article. If you've got a PC or you have an Xbox, you can go and download this for free. It's available for you. You don't have to play it. It's the same game on Xbox Series S that it is on the Series X. It's also the same on the Xbox One and the Xbox One S. It's exactly the same game. If you've got an Xbox One S, you can play this game right now. Multiplayer, free. Don't even have to have Xbox Gold or anything like that. Are people missing out on Halo now? Because it looked to me when this game first came out and the numbers were exceptional. We covered it plenty of times over the first 2 or 3 weeks. The numbers. This is the biggest launch weekend that Halo's ever had.
Like 20 million players within a week.
It was ridiculous, both over Steam and on Xbox Live. The numbers were stupid. And 2 months later, we're now looking at a game that has lost, according to this, 90% of its fan base. Are these people just downloading the game because it was available to them so easy for them to be able to try it and then not have to play it again if they don't like it? They didn't have to go out and spend the $60 to be able to try it out. I feel like that any game that's free to play, it doesn't matter if you know it's going to be bad going into it, you're going to download it and you're going to try it yourself. Those numbers that were taken initially were from launch day to the first 2 weeks, maybe a little bit beyond, and then they're going to make articles about how it was the fastest selling game and blah 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 blah, and the record amount of people playing Halo at any given time. That's fantastic, but if your game hasn't got legs after 2 months, and that battle pass was staying there for 6 months, 6 months for a battle pass is outrageous, and you've lost 90% of your fan base in 2 months. What are you going to do for the next 4?
It's the same thing though, isn't it? It's the same thing with Battlefield content.
Yeah.
If you don't put content in there, like getting. Let's mute that one. Getting 20 million players in. I don't know if I'm going to stick with 20 million. I could be wrong. Feel free to correct me if you do have any information on that. But 20 million players over the line is exceptional. Mm-hmm. But letting them drop off, there's no point getting them over the line. Like, we got a figure that says a lot of people played it. Yeah, but none of them paid for it.
Yeah.
And if that's the system seller, or even like the system doesn't necessarily have to be the Xbox Series console. The system could be Game Pass.
Yeah.
If that's the system seller and 90% of people have given up on it, what's the point?
Yeah.
So I imagine this is probably a difficult conversation internally, because they know that it's been well received, critically acclaimed. The game did very, very well. It wasn't 10 out of 10s, but it was like 8s, 9s, and some 10s.
An open world Halo game.
Yeah. So people were like saying, do you know what? Potential it's a Game of the Year contender. Maybe not a winner, but a Game of the Year contender, which is great. That's what you want for that.
It's what you'd expect from a Halo name.
And that, with 20 million people, great. And people play it. I've watched Timeless play it. He's enjoyed it. I've watched you play it. You've enjoyed it. I've watched Enix play it. He's enjoyed it. They've all enjoyed it. It's just the fact that it needs a bit of something. Yeah. And that's where, so this comment of, is it good enough for a first-person... like a first-person shooter or team play sort of stuff. Traditional team-based shooters have fallen out of favour, is the way that it's phrased in this article, and I do agree with that. And because I resonate with that massively. I will be more likely to play Warzone than I would to play Call of Duty multiplayer.
I mean, that's the exact opposite for me personally. But I've never really been into the battle royale-esque thing. I've always been a team shooter.
In Call of Duty Warzone you got, like, I don't know, a longbow, an axe, and a shield, you would be all over that. Don't give me that.
Yeah, if there was an Elder Scrolls battle royale, that would be insane. But yeah, I mean, I can see where they're coming from in terms of the shooter stuff. But I feel like this wouldn't be a conversation if they had something for people to come back in. Is it? You could copy and paste what I've just said for Battlefield into Halo, and it fits perfectly. Yeah. I don't think it's a conversation if the content is there for people, because people like Jordan stopped playing it. Jordan, who is the biggest Halo fan that I have ever met in my life,
Chief on his skin.
Yeah, if someone like that is stopping playing the game because they have nothing to do on it anymore, they've done the battle pass. There's so many cheaters that they're coming up against.
Platinum or whatever it was called, and he was grinding with a team to try and push for Halo Esports, and gave up on it because it shows you that you can have the right ingredients, but if you're missing just one or two ingredients, that just changes the whole recipe.
Absolutely.
You're on hand for a tikka masala, but then you end up with a korma.
Ooh, imagine that.
Heartbreak.
You went heavy with the cream.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. If there's nothing else out there, you'll take a korma, and it'll be all right.
You're not going to be talking about it. Yeah. You're not going to be talking about it. What did you have for tea last night?
That's why 20 million people have dropped off. I had a bit of korma and it was all right. It was good. But I really want my Halo masala.
Yeah. I know. I absolutely agree. Fantastic analogy as well.
This is where people in the chat going, fuck you, I love my korma.
Yeah. But yeah, again, the copy and paste the argument that we just had. It's such a shame because they have they have the entire recipe there for them to be able to make something fantastic, and it's just fallen flat. It's such a shame because people was waiting for this. This was off the back of what they'd just done with Forza 5. Fair enough, it's another Forza Horizon game. It didn't really... I mean, I enjoy Forza Horizon games. I only really got into it with the last one with 4. I was looking forward to playing 5. It's exactly the same game in a different location, with the same missions, same track things, same beat the speed cameras, stuff like that. It's just a different colour palette in a different place, new cars, fantastic. That's what I've come to expect from it. This was meant to be the game that sells your console, and I feel like out of the gate it was doing exactly that. And are people now scrambling to be able to go in and play a Halo campaign that's been out now 2 months? They're not going to replay it again. Are they going to go back and play online? No, they're playing the same maps that there was 2 months ago with the same scenario. It's just such a shame they had it all there for them, and I do feel bad for the Halo fans that have been waiting for this game, that had it delayed such a long time to finally drop and then get bored after a month.
I think, do you know what this kind of says for me is as disappointing as it is, it's almost a stark reminder that we're still in a pandemic world. Mm-hmm. Even though we're kind of feeling like we're out the other end, we're clearly not. And things like this shows that Battlefield shouldn't have released the game because it wasn't ready, but they needed to as a business. Microsoft shouldn't have released Halo, but they'd already delayed it by a year, so they needed to because it's part of the business. So Halo didn't release in full. You still, I believe, you still can't do the co-op campaign, right?
That's not until May, I think it is. Yeah, that's when I said I wanted to play through it with you.
So
I still haven't played it, and I love Halo campaigns.
So not all of the functions are in there, which then makes you think, okay, at that point you think, okay, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. But we would give the benefit of the doubt using our logical brains, considering the fact there's a pandemic, knowing that we are the top 10%. I said the top 10, so it's almost like elitist. We are the 10%, not top 10, but the 10% that are more switched on than the 90% of the mainstream kind of thing. So we might give them a fair crack of the whip, but the mainstream have gone, well, I've cracked my whip. It wasn't great, so I've moved on.
Do you think they was being too honest?
In what way?
So they've been super transparent with what their roadmap says, and I'm gonna throw in, wait for it, very left field, Cyberpunk into this as well, because they, albeit out of the gate, they wasn't very honest with what the capabilities are, but their roadmap since has given you an update as to when to expect stuff. If they've not met it, I can't really say much, but I've not played that game because I know that a PlayStation 5 version is coming out. That's when I want to play that game.
Maybe even this month, actually.
So I've put off playing that, so I have not been a part of their numbers at all. Fair enough for the initial sale. Samantha gifted it me for my birthday last year for the PlayStation 4.
Birthday year before.
Yeah, so it's been sat there, famously, if we was at home, we'd be getting out the drawer now, but it's been sat there. I'm not part of their analytics at all. These Halo have been very upfront with, you're not going to get this until this date. This is a 6-month battle pass. You're not going to get a new battle pass until May time. You're also not going to be able to play the co-op campaign until May time. Do you think people have been sitting off playing the campaign? Because I know I have.
Possibly.
If I am, then there must be other people out there that are as well, including you. You're not part of the numbers yet.
Even just yesterday, I think it was, or when it was, about the Halo and the big fix to the big team battle modes. So they've had all sorts of things like that. There'll be people sat going, oh, well, I'm going to wait until I can play. I can't remember what it was. I don't know if Timeless... Timeless is here. He's written quite a bit. Timeless... hey, how you doing? There was issues with multiplayer in terms of certain modes weren't available. So you've got the big team battles that were having issues, but wasn't there other more traditional game modes that I don't know if I'm
The big team battle got taken out, because they wouldn't pull your party through.
Yeah, but there was other issues with just certain modes weren't available unless you were in big team battles or something. I'm going to say you could play team deathmatch, but you might not have been able to play search and destroy or whatever.
You won't be able to play in the bigger maps because that's what they're there for, the bigger team battles. So you're just playing the same 3 maps.
So some
constantly.
people might have gone, do you know what? I'll wait until that's fixed.
Yeah.
And they've only just started fixing that. Some people might be going, okay, well, I want to play a campaign, but I want to do it with my mates, a co-op campaign. So I'll wait. So is it a bad sign for Halo? Yes. Is it a death knell? No. If I was to put the two side by side, is the same for Halo is what it is for Battlefield? Is it the same situation? No. Battlefield is in a much worse situation. Battlefield had a mediocre launch that went flat quickly, and people have left it. Halo had a great launch that has fizzled to... I think the difficulty for Halo is it doesn't have a recent successful world to build on. So Call of Duty's had Call of Duty every year, and then Warzone season 2 or 3 has built off of the last 2 seasons of Warzone and Blackout and the things before that. Halo had a good reception to the was it the Master Chief Collection?
That fixed so many things. Like
but that was kind of like remake territory. So I think Halo has as big as this game is. This is also breaking new ground for that game. So I don't I'm worried for Battlefield. I'm not worried for Halo.
Yeah, I think Halo will be able to turn this around quite easily. It's just the case of I think they've just been far too honest for their own good, which is a shame because they've put out they've set their stall early doors, and it's been now I don't want to say a giant disappointment because a lot of people have enjoyed it, including myself. I just feel like I'm waiting for something now, and hopefully their numbers when May comes around and they're starting to roll out this season 2 stuff and their co-op stuff, that their numbers for both the campaign and the multiplayer will be propped back up again.
I kind of feel like I like roadmaps and I like honesty, so I kind of feel like I'm happy with that. The issue is it's almost a juggling act. The fact that they want to be honest and transparent and let you know how things are happening, but they also still have a desire and a need to put stuff out.
Oh yeah, of course.
So if they were truly honest, they'd have been like, okay, it's not ready, so we'll wait until next year. But we know that we need to release it before Christmas, and you guys are all expecting it before Christmas. And they have smashed it by delivering, oh, by the way, multiplayer's out now. Boom! Yeah. And it's like, what the fuck? Where did that come from?
Yeah.
So they have done some stuff exceptionally well. But anyway, I'll put a pin in that. Let me scroll back. Warzone's had an update.
When you read that, I need to go to the top.
Okay. Warzone's had an update. PUBG went free to play. Fortnite had an update and an event. Bye, babe. Lots has happened since Halo's launch to pull players away. Also, Christmas happened, and maybe people were bought new games to play. With this month's lineup of games, no one's coming back. The thing is, though, a lot of people who have got consoles and stuff that have never had them before. So arguably, that's a lot of new people that could have played Halo as well. But the issue there is Warzone has had a few years of experience. PUBG players might have just upgraded to the next gen to play PUBG, Fortnite, everything. So Halo doesn't have the recent 5 years of success to build on. So if you are getting new players that have just been given, say, little Johnny or little Jenny both get an Xbox for Christmas, do they jump straight into Halo? No, they'll jump into what they know, and that's the thing. Halo needs to build that sort of back up. I will agree their Battle Pass system, another choice they made, would have turned some players away. Also, normally the Halo World Championship shows a resurgence in Halo multiplayer. However, this time with the qualifiers going on, it doesn't seem to have had that effect. Cheaters haven't helped either. There are a lot of factors that have caused players to step away. The fact we cannot turn cross-play off as console players is a massive issue. Sorry for the tangent and rant. I haven't touched the campaign yet. I just enjoy the multiplayer. I haven't touched the campaign. Scrolling has had much else to play. Originally, there were no team deathmatch, no domination, no capture the flag game modes. They were added super quick. So, like, things like that will instantly make people go, okay, well, I'm really enjoying my Warzone playthrough. I'm playing Halo now, or I'm really enjoying my PUBG playthrough, but I'm playing Halo now, or Fortnite, or whatever. And then when you go in and there's no modes, people go, oh, well, I'm just going to pause on this, and I'm just going to go back to playing my PUBG, my Halo, my Fortnite, my whatever. I'll come back to Halo in a bit. And then they don't. That happens. So they need like a, okay, big dick energy sort of moment. We are back in the room. Whop. Look at it. There it is. Full show. It's an ice cream. Not a dick. Chill out. So yeah, they need that. Originally they were in rotation, not as separate modes, but they were added as a separate mode very quickly. You get one chance to make a first impression, and that's it. Like, I don't believe they've made a bad first impression. I believe they've made a good first impression, but I believe the first impression wasn't perfect. So it was it was, oh, nice to meet you. I'll be back in a second. It wasn't like, hey, it's you. You've got my attention. I can't wait to speak to you a little bit further. It was a gentle introduction for someone that you're warm to, but doesn't have your entire attention. If David Beckham walks in a room, you'd be like, okay, I'm going to go speak to him. Yes, please. Whereas if David Beckham's in the room and Steve from accounts walks in, yeah, exactly. Halo's Steve from the accounts. You know Steve's decent and he's good and he does his stuff, but David Beckham's over there. So I'll come back to Steve in a bit. And I feel that's kind of where Halo is right now. Busy with something else, kind of. Yeah, exactly. Okay, put a pin in that. We will move on to our next article, which is sticking with Xbox, though. Actually, how far in are we? We're going to go through this article. Yeah, we'll read. So this next... Oh, wrong button. This next article... I'll take this off the screen. Is sticking with Xbox. As you can see, where can I put us? Which side of the screen do we need to
left, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We'll go bottom. So keep the title on for now. I might move us. Okay. Xbox is very unlikely to be able to buy big Japanese studios, claims an analyst. This is written by Tom Ivan at VGC, and it says, but Kantan Games' Sir Kantoto believes Sony is considering making a move in Japan soon. So Xbox will find it very difficult to acquire major Japanese game development studios should doing so remain a focus for the company, an analyst has claimed. On several previous occasions, Microsoft gaming boss Phil Spencer has expressed a desire to purchase an Asian game developer, quote, in particular, a Japanese studio. In some ways, actually, end quote, this is a separate quote now. In some ways, Microsoft taking over a big Japanese publisher would be bigger news than its plan to acquire Activision Blizzard for $68.7 billion, according to Dr. Seikan Toto, CEO of Tokyo-based games industry consultancy, Kantan Games. While it's not beyond the realms of possibility, Nathan Brown's Hit Points newsletter notes that Microsoft's chances of acquiring the likes of Sega, Square Enix, or Capcom were likely slim for several reasons, mostly cultural. Japanese companies are traditionally highly resistant to being acquired from overseas, with many insulated from takeover attempts by a Japanese system called Keiretsu. Keiretsu sees a business group formed by member companies from different industries so that they can essentially look out for each other because they own small portions of shares in each other's businesses. Toto said any attempt at a hostile takeover, quote, would be a suicide mission because everybody would leave instantly, adding, I would bet my house this will not happen ever. And he highlighted cultural and language barriers, plus, quote, the diversified business portfolio of key players, such as Konami's gym business and Sega's resorts, as further barriers to entry for Microsoft. Nothing can be ruled out in this day and age, said Toto, but in some ways, Microsoft taking over a big Japanese publisher would be bigger news than the Activision deal. So far, no foreign game company has been able to acquire a Japanese studio, and I can guarantee you there have been attempts from both Western and Asian players. Japanese game developers have consolidated in the past, but as many modern publishers show, including Koei Tecmo, Bandai Namco, Sega Sammy, and Square Enix, this has been virtually entirely kept to domestic companies. As noted by Hit Point's Nathan Brown, Japan was ranked last in the 2019 United Nations Conference on Trade Development for the amount of foreign direct investment in 196 countries around the world. Thus, if Japan's games industry is to consolidate, it will likely be to PlayStation's benefit, according to Dr. Toto. Sony, of course, has the home field advantage, and some of the challenges that would come up for Microsoft would not apply to Sony, he says. It doesn't have to be one of the publicly traded powerhouses, but I believe Sony is at least considering making a move in Japan soon.
Oof.
Spicy meatballs. So, Microsoft, get out of Japan. PlayStation, maybe.
Yeah. You feel like Sony would have already started to invest in these companies if they wanted to earlier, because they know full well that it's uncharted territory for Microsoft. They aren't worried about them being consolidated and monopolized because they won't do business with them. And the was it Dr. Toto that said that he'd bet his house that it would never happen and it would be a suicide mission. You can never say never because money's money. Money
talks.
Yeah.
Money talks.
And it's the same language in every single language. And every single culture.
Yeah, I agree, Biddy.
Just as Biddy walks in. So yeah, I mean, I can't see Sony looking to invest in them anytime soon, but never say never.
I want to stop you for just a second, because if I bring Game Frame up, all I want to say is Phil Spencer is a stylish motherfucker. Look at that, a bomber jacket with a dark t-shirt and blue jeans on. I mean, what that is just fashion right there. I don't know where I've seen someone. I'm cosplaying as Phil Spencer. Unintentional cosplay of Phil Spencer. Sorry, Phil. Didn't realise we were wearing the same thing.
But yeah, I feel like if Sony really wanted to, they'd have done so 25 years ago with PlayStation. The PlayStation consoles have been historically a massive JRP machine. Like, the PS Vita still exists over there. Like, it doesn't exist over here anymore, but they're still making games for it over there. It's just a JRP machine. So if they wanted to, and they wanted to invest heavily and make money themselves from it, they would have done. The only time I feel like they would do is if... this article could be a plant for Microsoft to go, do you know what? We're going to go over there.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll go over there. We might be able to take a few of the game devs and stuff like that over there, but essentially, they're untouchable.
See, this does make me think. Xbox can buy these companies. I mean, they can, technically, but with all the difficulties explained in that, there are systems in place that make it super difficult for Xbox to buy the company without other companies sabotaging it, so Xbox could be like, do you know what, fuck that, it's not worth it. So does that... Like, PlayStation could buy these companies. Just because PlayStation can and Xbox can't doesn't necessarily mean that PlayStation should. If PlayStation know that they are safe from Xbox purchase, do they even bother with that? Does PlayStation then go, okay, well, EA is American, which is also open to Xbox purchase, but we can buy them. Is it more likely that the EAs and the Ubisofts that are obviously massive companies, is it more likely that PlayStation goes after those than home field territory? Because they've already got those as their homies. It's like, what? Yeah. Okay, I know that guy's got my back, and I know that Xbox can't turn them against me, so I can just leave them. Like, it's like, keep your friends close, your enemies closer, and the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah.
Okay, well, not the enemy of my enemy. PlayStation's enemy, air quotes, is Xbox. An enemy of Xbox is these companies that they can't buy, enemy, air quotes again. So PlayStation know that, okay, we've got stuff on the same time.
Well, they're all in a WhatsApp group together, aren't they? So the only time that you will see Sony buying them is, I think, if they was going to fail in terms of, I don't know, Square falling out, starting to go into administration or something.
Phil Spencer's nice jacket.
Nice jacket. If the businesses were starting to go under and they needed some money injection, I think that's the only time that Sony may intervene to try and help them out and say, do you know what, we'll do you a favour, come underneath the Sony umbrella, blah, 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 blah. But apart from that, I think it's just the Wild Wild West. And
roll into the Wild Wild West. Dirty cash, I want you. Dirty cash, need you on. That's what Tito. He picked up on it. He picked up what I'm putting down. Graham has the same dress sense as the Xbox box. Yes, he does. Did I mention yesterday that we have an Xbox boss?
Oh, it's emote. Yeah, it's elite as well.
So we have an Xbox boss emote in production. There was talks of Microsoft buying Sega so they could brand the Xbox as a Sega console simply to gain market share in Japan. Yeah. There was considerable talks, and then it didn't happen. Is this why? Or it hasn't happened. Is this why?
You just got too much of a headache.
Yeah, fucking hell. What's this new place you're in? This is the Phil Spencer attire room. I didn't come prepared like Bibby did, so I had to wear Phil Spencer cosplay. So yeah, this is welcome in, KK. This is the ICU studio. Bibby evoking his Blazing Squad vibes.
Absolutely. Here at the crossroads.
Okay, well,
how much time have we got? We can roll these over. I mean, it's not going to be the best.
Yeah. Do you know what? We'll jump into this NFT one quickly to finish things off because I don't really want to roll NFT news. I want to get it done and gone because NFTs should be in the bin and the news can get straight in there as quick
really?
as it can.
I have some interesting things to say about this then.
Yeah. No. Interesting. Nice. Okay. One final news article today. Actually, speaking of news articles, I need to get that one off the screen. Okay. This. Move us. We'll go back over that side. This is from Michael Beckwith at Metro Game Central. It says NFTs are a financial scam. that says indie developer, indie marketplace itch.io. So indie marketplace itch. Is it pronounced itch.io or is it just itch.io? I'm going to go with itch.io unless someone says any otherwise. Anyway, that marketplace has gone all out in its attack on NFTs, even as Ubisoft tries to win its own staff round to the concept, despite many game companies being forced to cancel their NFT plans in the face of public outcry. With Team 17's Worms NFTs being the most recent, there's still little sign that bigger publishers have got the message. Now, itch.io, a marketplace for indie games, has shared its stance on NFTs and didn't even attempt to hide its contempt for the idea and those who endorse them. NFTs are a scam. If you think they are legitimately useful for anything other than the exploitation of creators, financial scams, and the destruction of the planet, then we ask you to please reevaluate your life choices, it said on Twitter. Boom.
My job.
You think that's bad? Wait. It added, fuck any company that says they support creators and also endorses NFTs in any way. They only care about their own profit and the opportunity for wealth above anyone else. End quote. So far, it appears smaller studios and companies have little interest in supporting NFTs as opposed to big names like Konami and Square Enix, the former having already made quite a lot of money out of them, and the latter seeing the potential in blockchain technology and play-to-earn mechanics. Ubisoft, in particular, also remains unrepentant despite the criticism, with Kotaku revealing it has been gifting NFTs to its own employees, even though those same employees are no more enthusiastic about them than the general public. We know you hate them, but try one. You'll like it. Honest. Specifically, certain members of the team working on Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint were treated to in-game hats to celebrate the series' 20th anniversary. A workshop and internal Q&A were also held, but did little to alleviate developers' concerns with NFTs. If anything, it only reinforced worries they had about the lack of interest in design possibilities and security vulnerabilities with the technology. The general tone of the Q&A was described as being similar to a recent interview with Nicholas, and this guy's name is great for NFTs, Pouard. Nice. It all is. Nicholas Pouard, VP at Ubisoft Strategic Innovations Lab, who accused NFT detractors as simply not understanding NFTs. I know you think the shit, but that's because you don't understand. Said interview was derided on social media and internally at Ubisoft, although there's still no sign that Ubisoft is backing away from NFTs. And that is that. So, so Ubisoft says if you don't like NFTs, it's because you don't understand NFTs, where it's not quite on the same path. Itch.io say fuck any company and that they are a scam. So one end of the spectrum, this is the other. Which end of the spectrum do you see yourself?
Do you know what? When these first started coming out, I was genuinely in the middle, but I think that's because I was undecided about what they were. I thought NFTs were just digital art. And it turns out that I think what was it that they said? Something about it being bad for the world because people have to mine. You have to pay for like Bitcoin and stuff?
It's all run through. I'm going to butcher this as well. So apologies, this is going to be wrong, but it's all run through blockchain technology. So it's basically the technology that goes into maintaining that system, be that through mining and whatever. Just basically requires shitloads of energy to keep it running.
Right. Yeah. See, that makes no sense to me. I genuinely thought NFTs were just digital pieces of art.
It's actually not true. It's not the art that you're buying, really. It's the receipt. It's the certificate of ownership for the art. So that's technically what an NFT is. So anyone can make art, and it's on the internet. Nice, great, wonderful. But you've got a little receipt or a little bit of code that says this one is yours and it's legit and it's worth something. So it's not really the art you're paying for. It's digital verification of art. So it's you go to a gallery and buy a Van Gogh painting. Oh, great, that's wonderful. But here's your receipt.
Yeah,
and
right.
That's what it is.
It's bizarre. Like I thought that might be quite cool. You'd be able to own an original piece of art because I thought that's what it come down to. I didn't realize it was the receipt stuff in the first ownership. I thought someone's made a piece of artwork. It's really cool. Is it hot in demand? There's only one in the world. What are you going to pay me for?
Well, that's effective. So it's the same sort of thing. The receipt guarantees that is not the only one in the world. Some of them it'll be the only one, but that's going to be one of 20,000 available. So your receipt guarantees that, because anyone can obviously copy and paste it. That's what you're paying for. You're paying for something to say, I know that this is a digital thing, which in theory should be copy and pastable everywhere because that's what it is. But this receipt says that it's different. Yeah, but I can still copy and paste it. Yeah, but that receipt says it's different.
Yeah, I found the bit, and it says something like the destruction of the planet, which obviously which comes down to the data of the mining of Bitcoin or Ethereum. I can never pronounce it. Ethereum. Like, yeah, it's. I had a complete different mindset of what an NFT was. I just thought it was just a piece of. I don't know why, but they're always monkeys. Why are they always monkeys?
They're the ones that get them bored apes or whatever. They're the ones that get shown about. But it's someone thought of a concept of what can I do that I can do lots of easily, but make them marginally different, and the slight differences make them a unique product, so I can sell them. And someone went, "I'll do an ape." So it's like someone gives you, like when you're at school and you'll get like a picture of a man, draw clothes and hair on him, and then what you draw is different to what I draw, but it's based on the same model. So yours is unique to mine, so that's your piece of art, and that's kind of what the concept with these bored apes was.
John Terry's selling them.
Yeah,
it's
Jimmy
weird.
Fallon, Paris Hilton, they were both on TV last week.
It's so weird. But I don't understand like the bit. I mean, this is a completely different tangent and something that I probably should that I probably need to research on my own. But why does it take more power to mine a Bitcoin? What is it looking for you to be able to mine something like that?
See, I don't know what the process of mining involves, but if you think like a mining rig would need multiple graphics cards running. With a PC attached, and it's the electricity required. Like, how many graphics cards you'd have to run, how much energy it would need to be used to.
But what's it trying to find?
Well, that's the point. It's like, well, how Bitcoin mining uses more power in a year than a whole nation of Sweden?
That's what I mean. Like, how?
But I don't know what the mine. So whatever the process is, I don't know if it's a case of. I mean, this is where I could be completely wrong. I always assumed it was something like they're using your machines for processing. So almost like PlayStation and folding at home and stuff like that. You essentially donate your PC power to someone else that's using them for supercomputer programming, and in return you get currency back. It could be completely wrong, but I assumed it was something like that. Bitcoin involves some... Oh, yeah, that is what it is then. So, yeah, there you go. Bitcoin involves solving complex equations. The more Bitcoin mined, the more complex the equation, hence the needs for more processor power. So
who's setting the equation? I have so many questions that I just don't answer. Like, I don't know the answer to.
Imagine supercomputers. Let's say NASA need to do some calculations that have like a millions of variables and stuff. It's like, imagine how long it'd take for you to render a video out on that.
Yeah.
NASA's computers will figure it out. Like, we'll do their rendering, but it'll take them days. Whereas if they hook it up to the supercomputer, it'll go, okay, we'll get it done in 12 seconds or whatever. And it's that sort of idea. That's probably wrong, but it's that. Feel free to correct me, by the way. But it's something like that. You basically are attaching your resources to someone else to use to mine, and then as a result you get currency back for your hardware and your mining. But your mining requires hardware to be purchased and then energy to be bought to pay for these rigs. So you'll like that thing that we saw
with the PlayStations.
Yeah, so that kind of stuff. Warehouses of people are just of PS4s and stuff hooked up, usually illegally linked into the grid somewhere, so scamming energy usage to mine currency, which all of that electricity pollutes the environment. So for someone to get one ape running on an Ethereum network, it's all funded by people that are mining, and all of that mining is...
I see people on Twitter just buying like 4 or 5 of these apes or whatever, and they're like 10 grand each. It's like, how did you get the money in the first place to be able to do this?
Well, you can just get the money you can just buy Ethereum. Like, you can buy a Bitcoin. You can go, okay, well, I want 10 grand, and you can invest 10 grand in Ethereum. And then
it's so weird. My head falls off with stuff like this. I think I'm not super intelligent, but knowledgeable about this kind of stuff, and then someone will throw in whatever it is that we're talking about now, and I just think I am thick.
See, when someone throws bored apes at you, you think, what the fuck? But there are probably examples like I was half listening, so I don't really know how it works, but Bateson was talking about he's investing in some NFT stuff himself, and it's like football club. So you I don't know whether it's like buying football cards or football stickers, but I think the money's then going actually into funding some sort of club or something. And I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm starting to get somewhere. I still don't feel like you need to run through NFTs for this, but I see they're trying to evolve the idea beyond something. So that's probably where we should be looking at something like that. Makes more sense to us. How does NFT and football go together? NFT and pictures of fucking weird earring bedangled fucking apes and stuff? Nah.
Yeah, like if someone was to create artwork of famous footballers per club, and you could buy. I mean, for me, I can't get my head away from you buying a piece of digital art. That's pretty cool, but then all the other stuff that goes alongside it is just bizarre. Like having an original painting of something famous, like fucking Mona Lisa, that would be worth an absolute fuck ton of money. That would be pretty cool to have in your house. You've got the original painting. If someone was to create original art, that's pretty cool. You can hang it up in your house, but that would just be a copy of it because it's a digital product. But everything else alongside, like people going, I can just copy and paste it and then snip into it, which makes me fucking laugh, but also die inside.
Tweets, like where you see like these crypto bros on Twitter going, I've just bought the ice cream bored ape, and it's a picture of an ape holding an ice cream, and then someone's just gone onto their tweet, screenshot of the tweet, so it's got everything else, and it's like, it's mine now. And it's like, no, but it's different. And then you get people responding with the, no, but it's different. Like SpongeBob sort of stuff. No, but it's not the thing.
I feel like there is a market out there for just buying digital art. That's cool. But I had the complete different end of the stick with the NFT stuff. But now I'm firmly in one camp. Like it's just ridiculous.
So you're not buying the art. What you are buying is a non-fungible token, aka the token is the proof of ownership.
Yeah.
So that's what.
It's so dumb.
So you are buying. It's daft. It's like I don't actually I don't actually want the car. I just want to buy the pink slip.
Would you like this? It's one of a kind. I have drank out of this.
Have you got the receipt though? Because I'm not asked about that. I just want the fact that you.
But it's new.
No, but I want the receipt, not that. I mean, anyone could have one of them.
It's stupid. I don't understand it. I don't like it. Yeah, it's a no-go from me, Jeff.
Yeah, sold. Not. Let me scroll back. People might give us better science than what we were going after. Bitcoin involves solving. Oh no, we've done that one. The more complex the equation, it needs more processing power, so the more GPU power is needed to mine. And there are millions of people trying to beat each other and all using massive rigs. There was a raid somewhere, I want to say Russia, they thought due to the power consumption it was cannabis farm, but it turns out PS4's mining couldn't. Imagine how loud that must have been.
That's what we covered. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, they had a FIFA 20 in the disk drive.
You can just see like some fucking reporter holding onto the door in the background, his legs flapping around because it's a warehouse full of PS4 Pros.
Who's in that jackass where Ryan Dunn's in the chair next to the engine and he's like holding on?
Just imagine. NFTs and Bitcoins confuse the life out of me, so I'm going to start collecting the Pokemon instead.
Why not?
One of the lasses at work just found all her old Pokemon cards. Tell her to give them to me. My mate works in the finances sector and I've lost it. And there we go. And I have conversations with him, but after 30 minutes my man starts to hit. Well, I used to work in a financial services firm, and I had to do, I can't remember. I'll say it's not PGC because that's PUBG Global Championships, but I'll just go with that as the acronym. You got like PGC 1, PGC 2, 3, 4, 5 is your qualifications, and we as a minimum had to have PGC 1 qualification. I remember just being sat there as like you hear phrases like gilt edge chance. I was like, that means it's a good chance. But I had to go through all the fucking understanding what gilts were and all this other stuff, and I'm sat there like, nope, it's not for me. Anyway, until China's recent crackdown, around a third of people in the country were mining. She could be minted. She could be. Not if I get them from her on the cheap. If you got Charizard, I'll give you £4 for it. I don't have my original Charizard. I don't even need to be a top quality one. I'll just.
Jamie will give you a golden vinyl. That's what he used to swap Pokemon, a shiny Pokemon, a shiny Charizards, and he'll give you a golden vinyl of his album. Being deadly serious, that's what Jamie did. He had like 7 of them in the house.
I was laughing because I was like, what? Jamie had a vinyl? There's a member of the ice cream team called Jamie, by the way, and I was thinking, what the fuck? JME.
JME.
Yeah, boy better know.
Better know. Jamie with 7 Pokemon cards.
Sorry.
We're not.
The best way I've heard of explaining Bitcoin mining is basically the Shakespeare thing. Give 1,000 monkeys 1,000 typewriters, and eventually you will get all the works of Shakespeare. Well, there you go. There you go. GenesisMining.com/Mega. That is the Bitcoin and Ethereal farm in Iceland. It's pretty big. So yeah, click the links. Click the links. Nice. Code Red, GG. Hey, welcome in.
Good afternoon.
We are just finishing up. Code Red. Hi. Do you mind if I slide in the whispers with you at some point? I do want to ask you a few questions. I've got a few conversations and a few things that I'd like to run by you. So yeah. If you don't mind, I will send you some whispers or DMs or whatever. So yeah, nice. Anyway, that is it for us now. We are going to disappear. So a quick recap of the stories. Battlefield 2042, it faces a fight for survival as players and content creators go AWOL, aka Battlefield, not doing very good. Friends of the channel, Westy, other content creators like Stodde, and a bunch of others have all started to move away from Battlefield. Elsewhere, players are moving away from Halo as well. It's now outside the top 5 on Xbox, outside the top 100 on Steam, but it's fine, it's all good. Halo will bring it back. Tell you what, Xbox won't bring back though, Japanese studios. That's because one industry analyst has said that it believes that if Xbox is considering making any moves for major Japanese studios, they won't go through because of stuff. If you want to know what the stuff is, then you can watch this podcast back either live on Twitch, on any of the podcast services, or on YouTube. We then finished up with a little conversation about NFTs and the fact that itch.io think they are an absolute shit show of a scam, which
they are now. Confirmed.
Yeah. Anyway, we are done for the day. Thank you very much for joining us. As mentioned, my name is Grim Day. This is Bib. We are Ice Cream Uploads, and we bring you the scoop 5 days a week. This is only episode 2. We'll be back with episode 3 tomorrow, plus some PUBG fun times in the evening, so do feel free to join us for those. But before we disappear, Mr. Bib, is there anything else you'd like to add? Yes,
again, thank you very much to each and every one of you that have joined us for this episode of The Scoop today. But if you want to help shape tomorrow's show, there is 2 ways that you can do so. First of all, find us on social media. It is at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms, or get involved with our Discord. All we need from you is a URL plus your thoughts and opinions. We will then give you our thoughts and opinions on the very next show, which will be at what time tomorrow? Mr. Graham Day.
10 a.m.
Ish.
10 a.m.-ish. We do work in the video games industry. The games industry work comes first. So the podcasts are ish.
Yeah.
Ish. We start at 10 a.m.-ish. Today we didn't start until 1-ish? Half 12-ish, something like that?
Yeah, it's half 12, yeah.
Yeah. Where's Hover? Do you know what, funny, Tito? We actually mentioned that before the stream. We need to get that added to the socials bit, so it's not there yet. It will be.
I've added it there separately for you, but if you are new around here and you don't know what Hover is, basically it's Instagram Reels and TikToks, but specifically made for gaming, so you can follow either your favourite content creators, your favourite streamers, or just your mates, because you don't have to be an influencer or anything like that to be able to upload to it. You just upload your favourite video game clips, and then people can comment, reply, stuff like that. It's basically just very streamlined, so you don't have to go through the shit of TikTok and Instagram to be able to find your favourite video gaming clips.
Speaking of which, join us on TikTok and Instagram at Ice Cream Uploads. On that bombshell, we are going to disappear. We're going to find a friend to raid, so do stick around. We'll throw that up once we throw at the end slate. But as Fireproof Bean says, let's guys, at least we killed off NFTs. You goddamn right we did. That's it from us, though. Have yourselves a beautiful day. We'll see you at 10 a.m.-ish tomorrow. Until then,
stay frosty.